Hello Flosstube, welcome back today on Sunday the 6th of April 2025. My name is Stuart, this is Flosstube number 18 on the channel Stuarts and Stitches. Welcome back to my returning subscribers, all you who keep turning up faithfully week after week to see what I've been working on in the central belt of Scotland. It's lovely to spend some time with you again today. I hope you're stitching while you're watching, and as always please drop me a wee note of what you're working on. It's always good to see, especially when someone is in a stash ban, i.e. me. It's always nice to live vicariously through what others are stitching on or what they might have been buying recently. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I have some notes to the side to make sure I don't forget things, although I still will. When you reach a certain age, the memory tends to go a wee bit. To my new subscribers, welcome. I hope you do enjoy what I share with you. You've obviously hit that like button and subscribe, so thank you for doing that. I do appreciate it. For anybody who's stumbled across me, this is a channel primarily about cross stitch. There might be some knitting and crochet flung into the mix now and again. Today we're all about cross stitch. If you like what I'm sharing, what I'm rabbiting on about, please do give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more of it, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified when I post. At the moment we're doing a weekly trial which seems to be working. You are appreciative of what I'm doing, which is great, so we'll keep going with that. Because I'm doing my temperature stitching, I certainly do have a fair bit to show and fill out a video with for you and let you see what I've been up to since we last spoke. Thank you for all your comments on my last update. I really enjoyed going through them, reading them. Some of you got answers to the questions you were asking, so that was I really enjoyed the engagement of that. To those of you who responded to my plea about finishing with some trim around the pillows, thank you for the recommendations to go and have a look. I think there was Lindy Stitches, there was Vanna Pfeiffer, Red Velvet Quilts, amongst others, so I shall be perusing those, and then over the summer I'll have a small... I was trying to think back to when I requested this. Did I have a small in mind that I'd finished? And I don't think I've got one finished. To save me watching back my video, if somebody who watched the last one can remember what it was I was referring to when I was asking the question, please drop me a note. I wonder if it was the Summer House Stitchworks that I showed. They might be a bit big, however, it is not beyond the realms of possibility they could be turned into wee cushions for sitting on the couch or downstairs somewhere. Thank you for the recommendations, plenty there for me to view and get some hints and tips from, so delighted with that. What else is there? As I said, please do drop comments below in the video. Let me know what you're thinking about on what I'm sharing, what you're up to. If you want to get in touch with me on Instagram, the handle there is Stuarts and Stitches, same as this channel. I tend to post there regularly, generally daily, if not twice daily, usually my temperature stitching, and then at the end of the day what I might have been working on that day, although I have been lax in that the past 2 days. Someone didn't get a new laptop, i.e. me. So I've been busy playing with that and getting that set up, which has taken up a fair bit of time. Who knew it was so complicated to set up a new laptop? They say transfer everything over, it did, but then you've got all the updates to do and all that, all the faffing around. However, we're nearly there. It is looking good. Very happy. What else was there? Oh, and email as well. If you want to reach out to me an email, the email address is stuartsandstitches@gmail.com. Both of these links will be in the show notes below. So what are we going to talk about today? We've got some temperature stitching and whips to look at. We have a bit of Stitchy kindness, which I'm very tardy in talking about. I think I'm about 3 or 4 weeks behind with that. We have some plans, and I thought I'd talk a wee bit about my stash plans for when the stash ban lifts, because the end of that is beginning to come over the horizon, and I think that will probably fill out the video today, so we'll see how we get on. So temperature stitching first. Let's have a look at the diary, see what's been going on. This will give you a wee clue. It depends how quickly you can screenshot this and peruse. This has got other bits and pieces in it as well, just to remind me of notable events that have been happening in my life. Nothing too personal, so it's not that bad. So that's generally write down my stitching in here. Where I've counted it, like if it's in Pattern Keeper or that, you'll see I'll put stitch numbers. If it's not countable, then I don't put stitch numbers. So I don't generally count my stitches nowadays. I just enjoy the stitching process. Let's not complicate things, shall we? I'll keep this up so I know what I'm talking about my temperature stitching though. For my temperature stitching, I do mine the way that Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, does hers, although at the moment she has put that on pause due to her work commitments. Yeah, Darren's still doing it. Andrew, the runner stitcher, is doing it as well. And in a similar format. So I have 10 whips assigned to the numbers 0 to 9. And depending on what the temperature is that day, through the beloved BBC Weather app, pick a weather app of your choice. That determines what I'm stitching. Single digits, that digit between 0 and 9 will tell me the whip. If it's double digits, then I take the last digit, and it's always the high for that day I take. As we're coming into spring now in Scotland, we're coming into more double digits, and the weather is beginning to warm up a bit. I'm looking outside just now. It's lovely today. I see blue skies. I feel a song coming on, but I shall spare you the details and the experience of that. But it looks to be a lovely day. I'll go out for a wee walk later. There's a nice cycle path at the back of our house, running along parallel to the rail track between Edinburgh and Glasgow. I shall have a wee walk along that and back, get a bit of exercise and fresh air. Oh, and here we go, down another digression. I really must stop that and concentrate on the stitching. Right, so where are we? Temperature stitching. So I have the bags beside me of the goodies. Let's start with Pretty. This is a Nanny Thomas piece. Living in this bag that I made a long time ago. I'm not sure what I make of that fabric. It is bright and cheerful though, so that's alright. So this is an entire chart from Heaven and Earth Designs. Stitching this on a piece of 28 count something. 28 count even weave anyway. That's the threads. I got these a long time ago from a lady called Donna Simerson, who had an online shop I think called Cross Stitch Heaven, and she would kit up Heaven and Earth kits for you. So there we are. That was it back in the 20. Ooh, maybe 2015 or something. That's the extras. There's lots of greys and lots of blacks. Amanda, all the shades of grey that you could wish for. Right, what's this going to look like when it's done? I have my pattern keeper on my new tablet. This is a very stripped down version of what my pattern keeper normally looks like. Normally there's scrolling and screens of charts, but I've only got 6 imported so far. Not all of which are being worked on at the moment. So here's the mock-up. No, well, it was the mock-up until all that junk came in. Where did it go? Back to there. There we are. Yes. No, don't press extra buttons, Stuart. So, very, very lovely design. Very aptly named Pretty. And I'm up in the left-hand corner. Oops, you nearly saw some in there. Oh, well, there we go. It's alright. I'm up here somewhere, working along this top row of greys. So you think of a shade of grey in the DMC catalogue, I'm probably stitching it on this piece. But it makes for a nice quick morning of my 100 stitches. Well, let's just gather this up and show you where we've got to. Well, you've just seen it. Hey, here we are. I do like this wee butterfly. I think I say this every time. This wee butterfly sitting on top of this flower here. But we're just working up these shades of grey here. As you can see, I'm parking and doing this in the diagonal. So I set my pattern keeper diagonals 20 by 20. Normally in ungridded fabric I wouldn't be so brave. I'd limit it to 10 by 10. Yeah, I used to work in finance when I was working, but that's what calculators are for counting. But when it's just blocks of grey, it's reasonably easy to keep tabs on what's going on. So we're just about to start a new diagonal. Probably when it comes up this week, I'll finish that section there. You probably ask yourself, why did you just finish that unless you brought it out, Stuart? Because I was fed up with grey, that's why. But and we'll start here and come up here. Because when I first started this, a long time ago, I was doing it page by page. But now I like stitching on diagonals. And Skipping Pattern Keeper gives me that wonderful option. That's what happens. So let's bring it in a wee bit. You can see it there. There's another wee flower just creeping up down here. I'm enjoying this. So it's nice. It hasn't been out for a while because I was fed up with the grey, but because I'm doing it in wee chunks and the temperature stitching, it does help a lot to get some progress. This is more progress this year than it's had in the past 3 or 4 years, to be honest. Shameful as it is to say, but I'm sure we've all got whips like that. Right. So what I do with temperature stitching is it's 100 stitches a day, or if I've not got many stitches left on the thread that's on the needle, then I'll finish that out. Something like this, where it's just lots of grey, depending on my mood, I will either just keep going to finish it off, or I'll just park it and think, well, the next time we'll sort that out. So let me just put my tablet back to where it was. There we go. Right, so that was Pretty by Nanny Thomas, a retired chart from Heaven and Earth Designs. Next we have our friend Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. This is the Verlanda Sampler, AKGIT 1833. I have this in a bit of paper. I'm down here in this second motif along. I'm about 3/4 of the way up now. We have a fishy bag for this. I like this fabric, it's nice and colourful. I should really use this for catching rays, but I'd need to make a bigger bag to cope with catching rays, which is not beyond the realms of possibility. I like this, I like the cheerfulness of it. You'll see catching rays just shortly. It's on my, it came out to play this week at some point. Right, so this is being stitched on 40 count linen vintage country mocha from Zweigart, using the called for Roxy Floss Co. and the Verlanda thread. This is really nice to work with, and it stitches up lovely in this fabric, as you will see in a minute. Right, let's see. As always, it's a red spread. Well, I'm giving you the stats for Pretty. Hang on. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just looking to the side there. Right, so it's sitting. It has a total count of 270,000 stitches. It's sitting at 13,680 at the moment, and that gives it a percentage of 5.04%. That's only 5%, and I'm not even halfway along the top yet. Get the finger out, Stuart, get the finger out. I'm doing that with DMC, as I said, but I'm stitching that 1/1 full cross on the 28 count. Right, let's get the stats ready for AKGIT, because it fitted nicely into Pattern Keeper as well, which is very good. Jacob's charts are good for that. Right, here's the bottom of it. Let's see if I can do this without having to deal with the whole piece of fabric. There's a stray thread ready for the next go round on this. I do like this. I love the way that the font is used at the bottom for the lettering as well, as you will see. So this came out. How many days did this get out? Once. I got 116 stitches. Pretty came out twice. Let's see if I can do arithmetic over a page. 121, 104, 226, 225 stitches it got. Right, let's just put that thread up over the top there, and here we are. So as I said, I was working in this, just bringing this up. I love the symmetry in this. There we go. Something very pleasing when it all works out and you get that lovely symmetry. It's a reflection symmetry over 90 degrees by the look of it. I can't quite remember the terminology for that now from my maths long ago. I did my degree. But as I said, this is our introduction to group theory, which was great. So that's that. I don't think I can say any more on that. We'll just keep plugging away on it. I'm enjoying it though. It's a nice piece to work on. Again, it goes quite quick in the morning. Generally, I'll do my temperature stitching first thing in the morning. It's my first piece of stitching I'll pick up once I've had my coffee. First order of the day is always a coffee. Kickstart the system. And I'm generally up first. Carl stays up all night watching whatever he watches, and he's a Blu-ray film boy, so he'll sit and watch one of those or a couple of those at night. I can't watch them. I'll sit down to watch some with him, and unless it's really caught my interest, 10 minutes later I'm head back snoring. He has pictures to prove this. But oddly enough, give me a box set to watch something on Netflix. I can sit and watch 3 or 4 episodes of that back to back, not a problem. Who knew? I don't understand that one at all. Right, the next piece to share with you is yesterday's Catching Rays. So this is, as I have said frequently, ad nauseum probably, this is my largest piece. It's 1,080,000 stitches. It's from Cross Stitch Studio. The artist is Abraham Hunter, and it will one day, I live in hope, look like that. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Look at those lovely blues. And as usual, I'm down. Let's just zoom in a wee bit. I'm down there in that bit of coral and whatever else is going on there. I love Betsy's charting though, it comes up so well. Basically, she'll chart the piece to the size that does it justice, and she'll use the amount of colours that are required to, again, do justice to the artist's handiwork. And that's Cross Stitch Studios. This has been stitched on a piece of 25 count gridded even weave. I love gridded even weave for my full coverages nowadays. Who knew that was a thing? Oh, there's a needle in there. Let's just be having you. Right. Gridded fabric. Oh, you can go. I've done cross country on it and been happy with that. It hasn't freaked me out. I like my parking though, because I like seeing my sections fill in bit by bit as I work up work up and along the piece, instead of odd stitches here and there. You'll see my odd stitches here next. I started this cross country, just picking a colour and running it till the thread ran out. But I was doing that within a page. See you ladies and gents who can do cross country over a whole project. I take my hat off to you. I would be so scared. I mean, fair enough. The gridded would help tremendously with that, but oh no, that's not going to happen. In a page I can cope with, but oh no, not over a whole project. There was somebody I saw, I think that her name was Laurie, maybe, who was doing a Disney piece, and it was one of the huge ones. I think it's from Zana on Etsy, and she was doing that cross country over the whole project. Oh my goodness. Oh, it looked amazing when you saw it. Seeing all the outlines, she was doing the black, and it looked tremendous. But I thought, oh, how brave are you? Not for me. However, that's the joy of the stitching. We've all got different ways of doing things, and it suits us all to pick whichever works for us. Right. Anyway, I rabbit again. Right, here with the theology of stitching according to Stuart. So here's where we are. I'm working up this diagonal over here. As you can see, just filling in. You can see my confetti stitches up and down the place when I was doing it cross country. And now on the diagonal. Doesn't it look good? I love the cut of all these pinks for the coral down there. Let's bring that in a wee bit closer. I'm peering around the side here just to see what you're seeing. You can't see me peering. Let's have the baldy head. There we go. And lots of part threads. But all these part threads tell you there's lots of lovely colour detail going on. So that's that one. Now let's see if I can get this folded up and back into its bag. This fabric I think came from Wool Warehouse, a supplier in the UK. They do. No, it didn't. What rubbish I'm talking about. That's my Vintage Country Mocha, probably came from them. This came from Abby at Cross and Crafts, who I go to for my gridded fabric and my, what's the word I'm looking for? CXC threads, because that's been stitched 1/1 using CXC. 1/1 full cross using CXC. I think Abby's got a sale on at the moment. Cross and Crafts on Etsy or on the Facebook page. She has a 15% sale off on her fabric and threads. So if you're anything you want to kit up just now's a good time to get in touch with her. And she's tremendous. She advises what's going on, and her turnaround is very good. Generally comes out first class, track 24. And if your postal service is up to scratch, you'll usually get it the next day after she's posted it, which is tremendous. Then you have the fun of organising your threads, and away we go. I love organising my threads, great fun. Oh yes, I handed out the threads for catching rays just to let you see the colour palette. 1 or 2 threads, I think there's about 180 colours in this. Ooh, my favourite. I haven't done this for a wee while, I can see, because they are needing kind of sorted out a bit. I'll just run my fingers through it. Oh, isn't this lovely? Yes. There we go. And these cards, these are just gift tags off Amazon. You can get them in packs of 100. And they're great for just put them in a big hoop. Ta-da! And there you go, you've got your kit. Just grab that, your fabric, your chart, your tablet, and you're good to go. And I love organising threads. I really do. It's great fun. So it's a nice way to spend an evening in front of the telly when I'm watching my Netflix back to back and not falling asleep. Nowadays, that was before I started working my master set, which sits, my master set of CXC is on hooks like that, but it's on pip and chip floss drops. And I have some hooks attached to my trolley, and the floss drops are on hoops. Like, let me show you what I'm talking about. Maybe I can just reach behind me and grab. Here we go. We're off down another digression here. They're on these plastic cable things that screw up. I think I've got 3 on this, and then I think I've got about 50 floss drops on there. There's an empty one there that I need to go shopping in my supply. 3731 needs replenished. And this is great now. I can just pick up a piece and go and get on with it. I don't need to worry about kitting it up. All I need is the fabric, which I still go to Abbey for. And when I need to stock up my threads from Abbey, I'll just go either get a full set, which is cheap as chips, or every now and again I'll go and ask her for a batch of the kind of common colours that are used, your greys, your blues, blacks, B5200s, all that. The standard ones that tend to crop up in every chart. I'll maybe every now and again go and get 5 of each of them and just have a wee stash of them ready to go. Right. That was nearly finished temperature stitching. The next piece links into other whips anyway. This is Fall Fairy, which came out twice this week. Once as part of temperature stitching, and it came out on Friday because one of my friends was through for a Stitchy day, and I stitched on 2. Yes, I did bring it through 2 DMC pieces, 2 dimensions kit pieces, one a gold one, one a normal one. I can put this down away off my lap now. Oh no, I'll keep it there because I've got stats, I've got numbers for both of them. So, in the morning when my friend was here, I worked on Glories of Autumn, which is a Dimensions kit. Carl bought me this kit after I sent him the link to it. He bought me this kit a year past Christmas, so Christmas 2023, and I got around to starting this just before Christmas 2024. The mills of God grind exceeding slow this day, but so do mine. Right, that's what that's going to look like. If you watch Jessie Marie does stuff. She finished this, as did Jen. Jen had her sitting for a year or 20, maybe, before she did the backstitch. She just loves the backstitch, does our Jen. If you watch her videos, you see this frame sitting up behind her. It's a lovely piece. I love the autumn colours. Autumn is one of my favourite seasons because I just love all the oranges and the golds and the browns that you get in that. So I'm working down here somewhere in the fence. Using the called for fabric, which is a 14 count ivory with the provided threads. I'll just put this back in the bag. This is a nice, another nice brightly coloured bag. I do love colour and brightness. And this has got all sorts of fabric sewn around the edge now because I can then get it into my Q-snaps, or if I really want to, I could put that in scroll rods now, because I just slide the rod. I could slide the rod through the opening at the bottom here. See there? Slide my rods through that, top and bottom, and get that into a set of scroll rods. Right, where were we? We've got threads hanging here, there and everywhere. Right, put them out of the way. So here's where we are. So I was just working away, filling in gaps, working along here. I was working in that direction. I like the Dimensions Gold kits. I've fallen back in love with them again. Well, not just Dimension kits rather, not just Dimension Gold. And see the wee petites, I've got 2 or 3 of them, and they're lovely for working out in the garden in the summer. You can just hold them in your hand. That's that for you to see. So when the summer comes and the benches have been uncovered, I can get myself sat out in the garden with them around the back and enjoy the sunshine and get some stitching done. We've got a real sun trap out the back, so we sit facing just off south, so the sun travels across the back garden all the time, which is great. It's a bit of a sun trap though. When I had hair in the good old days, I was a ginger. I'm fair skinned. So sun and me, we have a love-hate relationship. Sun cream is an essential. as I have learned many a time. You think after all these years I would remember, and I come back in, my face is glowing red. Carol starts talking about things like Rudolph, and I'm thinking it's no Christmas yet, but he's looking at my nose. Cheeky so-and-so. You think I would remember about putting some sun cream on my face? You live and learn. You keep thinking in Scotland, you can't get sunburned in Scotland, surely. It's a cold country. Oh, no. Excuse me, I must have a drink of water. 25 minutes in, still stuff to talk about. That's good. Right, next one is Fall Fairy. So to mention, the Glows of Autumn got 148 stitches overall, which is a combo of half stitch and full cross, primarily half stitch I think it was in that one. Fall Fairy, my next one of my favourites, although again until I edged my fabric with other fabrics so I could get into a snap without coming a cropper at the edges. This sat for a while with no progress, but now it's coming out, and it's normally just temperature stitching, but I thought this is a good one to work on when I've got a friend here, because it requires a degree of concentration, but not to the extent I can't talk to anybody. And you know me, I do like a wee blether. Right, so this again stitched on the Called For Everything, which is, what is this? 16 count grey cotton, and it's going to look, it's a well-known one, the Fall Fairy. She's a lovely lady, and I'm over, this will tell you how long ago I started this, because I'm over here somewhere in the top, over in the top, what is that, top right of the design when I look at it. And nowadays I normally start these in the bottom left. I must show you my Aurora cabin that I started sometime. I might actually bust pull out Aurora cabin. To whoever it was that suggested big needles to me, I think it was on here. It was either here or Facebook in the Dimensions group. Suggested getting some wider eye tapestry needles. I did go ahead and do that. I got a set of 22, 20, I'm looking at here 20, 22 and 24s for when you're using six threads through a needle like an Aurora cabin does, because then it helps, it winds the hole so your threads come through without bursting your wrists when you're trying to pull it through and get a grip of that needle. Right, so this is coming on not bad at all. He says trying to kind of organise it out of camera view. Let's not spoil the surprise. Right, here we go. Do you know when I started this, I was thinking, what am I going to say in these videos when I start this channel? And so far I've not been stuck. Well, as you know, since you keep coming back. So here's where we are. So we're filling in some of this brown here, which is a kind of tree branch from somewhere, and filling in the gaps here. There was a wee bit of orange somewhere that had been annoying me for a while. That bit there. I felt there was a gap there that I filled in. I just took the time to fill that. It was only about 6 stitches, so that was alright. It just was annoying me. I never got around to doing it. So, and it's always with the dimensions, the detail, even without the back stitch. I mean, look at these leaves coming down off this tree. Lots of blue sky, with swirls from her robe coming in, which will be in the next page. And I'm loving all this yellow that's streaming up with the butterflies in it. And the butterflies are really clear as well. Who said you can't do good on Ada? I love stitching in Ada. I'll stitch in anything, me. If it's regularly punched with a hole, I can put thread through that quite happily. So there's that one. Alright, so put that away. Get the fabric back in the box. And that got 253 stitches on Friday and 84, oh yes, 84 on Wednesday, because I thought there was a mistake in it somewhere. I was working along a section of it in the half stitch in blue, and I was looking thinking, there's more stitches, there's more space here than I thought there should be, so I stopped. So I thought, well, if there's going to be a mistake, there was no point in aggravating by putting more in. So I thought, right, that'll do for the temperature section today. So I spent the next half hour counting various sections, double counting, until I was satisfied that, yeah, we were good. Everything was in the right place it should be. But, so I was glad of that. I didn't have to frog anything, thankfully. I mean, it's not so bad frogging in Ada, but nonetheless, it's never a pleasant experience for anyone. So I'm very pleased. At the moment, everything seems to be in the right place and it's looking good. Happy with that. Right, that's all I need the diary for. So the next piece, we have a story. Do like a wee story. So, Hands Across the Sea. If you follow me somewhere on Facebook, you'll know the piece I'm going to talk about, depending on which groups you're in. So, Hands Across the Sea, some time ago, for Traditional Stitch's 20th anniversary. I can't remember the year this was. I do remember it was some point during lockdown, I think. Hands Across the Sea in conjunction with Traditional Stitch. 2019 this came out. Oh, shame on me. Says who. Anyway, they brought out Anne Morrison, a Scottish sampler, and she will look like this, ultimately. And you'll see where I am when I show you the piece and I tell you my story. So I'm stitching this on, wait for it, 45 count linen, which is rather tightly woven. And I'm using SWA 103 silks, which is what's called for. Nicola does provide a conversion to DMC and Novera SWA. Nicola's charting is tremendous. I won't show you the pages because the kind of, well, you know the story. You shouldn't really show pages in Flosstube. But her charting, her booklets are beautifully produced. A good narrative around the sampler itself if you're interested in the sampler history. The charts are extremely clear. You got a full centre spread, which I showed you there, off the design itself. And they're well worth buying. They're well worth it. And since lockdown, she also produces PDFs, which again are tremendous quality. And you can get a black and white and a colour version. There's one where it's done in full page, so you can zoom in your electronic device, be it your phone, your tablet, or whatever you use. At the moment, I have reached about up here, and there's a reason I've only reached up here. See all this stuff down here? That was lovely. That was all nice cross stitch. That was great. Then we got up to here, and we thought, oh, there's a nice bit of an alphabet. Now, a typical feature of a Scottish sampler I have learned is Algerian eyelets. Now, Algerian eyelets, you think, they're all right. But up to that point, I'd only ever done them on like 28 count. And I wasn't using every hole that God provided in that fabric as you were going around your square. Oh no. These, on 45 count, were 16 leg eyelets. I looked, I thought, all right, that's fine. And off I went. And I realised what I'd let myself in for. I did persevere, working along here. Nose nearly touching the fabric with the strongest magnifiers I could get my hands on. I had these babies hanging off my glasses. That was a look, let me tell you. So the latest stitching fashion. And at one point I thought, I've had enough, I just can't be doing with this anymore, because I was only getting so far along and I was getting fed up because I couldn't see where I was going. I was fearing I was going down the wrong hole in the middle, and I was making an extra hole where it didn't need to be one. So I stopped. I'd had enough. I wasn't enjoying it, and it's a craft. It's a hobby for us all, and there's no point in doing it if you're not enjoying it. So I get put in time out for a long time. I think we're talking about a year, 2 years maybe. And then at the Scottish Stitching Retreat 2-3 weeks ago, Gillian had brought this thing for cleaning jewellery. She said it's great for cleaning glasses, and she was going around our table cleaning glasses. She said, "Stuart, hand over your glasses." So I handed them over. Instant blindness. Blind as a bat. I can barely see the finger in front of my face. But no, that's not true. Actually, I could see the finger from my face, but I couldn't see beyond that. And I was stitching on a 40 count piece of fabric, and I looked, I thought, I can see these holes. I didn't need my magnifier or anything like that. So got myself a wee bit closer, and I was stitching away quite happily. And then I got my glasses back, and we're back to situation normal using the magnifier, and that's fine. That's what I do. But I thought to myself, I wonder if that would work with Anne Morrison. So I promptly pulled it out. And I could see the holes, but not very well, because it is tightly woven. I'm going to show you in a minute, don't worry. It is tightly woven, and it's difficult to see where you're going. So I thought, well, now that I've pulled it out, let's put in a Q-snap and see if I can get an eyelet done. I'd also bemoaned my fate and bewailed at length on the Friends of Hats Across the Sea sampler group. And the ladies in there gave me tremendous encouragement to keep going, or maybe think about Smyrna crosses or some other form, because it's a sampler and it's a learning piece for the young ladies were working on, so it didn't need to be eyelets all the way across. But me being me, I thought, no, I want it to look consistent the way it should. So after all that encouragement, I thought, right, Stuart, pick up your needle and have a shot. So I got these wee things. These are something called Kikar, Kikar. I got them off Amazon, but you can't get them now, so they're out of stock. But if you search Kikar on Amazon, it will pull up a recommended alternative which looks very similar, and it says the same magnification lens. These are, I think these are triple magnification, which is good. And if I do 3 eyelets a day or so, then that's fine, and that's progress. That's all I need. I just need progress. So let me show you. It's a lovely, lovely piece to work on, and I love the 103 silks, and this is my first time on such a high count fabric. It's not putting me off. I mean, I've got some nice 46 count fabrics through there from XJ Designs that I've not used yet. We have a thread hanging here and there. Let's just organise a wee bit. I've got my red hanging for the next part. So here's where we are. That'll be all right. She's lovely. Now the stitches are so delicate. Delicate? Me delicate? This elephant here? And the A and the M down in the bottom line there, Anne Morrison there, eyelets. Let me bring that in. You can see. See that heart? That heart there is all eyelets. That's what I've been working on this week. So I'm coming up this. Let me wiggle my finger into view here. I'm coming up this side of it, bit by bit, creeping up. So that heart's now nearly finished. And then that red border that's coming along, that's all eyelets, and those letters are all eyelets. It's not a full alphabet, thank goodness. There's still a few letters to do though. So we'll just persevere, and when I get fed up I can just go back to the cross stitching on it. But I'm so pleased I've got this out and up and running again. So after all that, that's where I am in that. So every day or so, I'll do 2 or 3 eyelets, and we'll progress with that. Now then, let's see. Sorry, I'm just organising. You see the back of my head there. Oh, that's fine. I can put that there. It's not going to hinder anything. And the main project this week was from Bella Filipina, and it is Amphitrite, the Queen Goddess of the Sea. I have a picture. I'll put it inside here because it kept falling off the front of the chart. Yes, Amphitrite, Queen Goddess of the Sea. One day she will look like this. So this is a new start this week, and I've been working along the bottom from left to right so that I know I'm centred in the fabric for the across the way, and I'm happy that I am up and down the way because I measured not twice, I measured 3 or 4 times before I put a needle in that fabric, just to make sure. I'd hate to get up there and suddenly find, oh, I can't get the top in. That would cause me grief and angst. There we go. So that's what she's going to look like one day. This is one of Drin's biggest designs. It is 285 by 362 stitches. I think I've got about half a yard of fabric from Sparklies. This is called Galeen. It starts off sandy colour at the bottom, so that's, and sort of shades up into the blue, which I'm calling the blue of the sea. And I've made quite a good bit of progress this week. I started this last Saturday, being International Mermaid Day, and yes, that is a thing. Ali, I know I think you were stitching your Queen Mermaid or something, or was it Calling Ships or something like that? One of the Mirabilia mermaids, anyway. Or so you commented when I told you it was International Mermaid Day. This was started by Kenny Stitches and Will It Stitch Tyler here on Flosstube, who said they were going to be starting Orduja, which is one from Bella Filipina as well. I had Amphitrite all kitted up for a year, and I was looking for a good excuse to start her, and that was the excuse I needed. So I've been working on her for a week now, and let's show you where we are. You can see from the... Yes, you can see that end to end just. Huge piece of fabric. There's the blue, green there you see scrolled up, and there's a sandy colour at the bottom, and there's where we are. Let's bring it in. So I've just been filling in. I did all that light colour sand all the way along. Just I suppose I got some landmarks to work from. And I've just been filling in bits. A lovely wee starfish there you can see. The blue is the kind of bottom, the part of our tail fin. And we're just working along, filling that in. So I've really enjoyed working on that this week. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to work on it just now before it gets put to the side for something else. I don't even yet know if I'm going to work on it today. I probably will do a bit today, I think. But she's lovely. I'm really enjoying working on her. I'm glad I've picked this up. Just waving it along in front of you, bobbing along in the beautiful blue briny. So that's what that's worked on. That's one of my needle needs frames. One of my bigger ones. Right. What's next? That's all the whips. 40 minutes. I was saying to Carol last time, I'm recording tomorrow, but I don't think I'm going to have to talk about. Oh, I should have known better. Anyway, Stitchy Kindness next. So, Michelle at Mama Loves You GB had got in touch with me not long ago asking a question about the day retreat the Scottish Stitching Retreat are running in August at Castle Carey. And we were chatting away. And I think she was away on my stash bang, so I was talking a wee bit and I was saying I'm looking forward to buying one of your samplers in June once my stash ban goes. And she says, oh, which one? As I was telling her. And she says, oh, I can just send you that. And I thought, really? That's so kind. I mean, we've only talked briefly before on Flosstube, on Instagram or that. I usually watch her Sunday morning briefing, which is always good. So a good variety of stitching going on there, and she always has a freebie that she's found that she shares with us. So there's usually a link in our show notes for that, which is great. You get all sorts of goodies. And she gave me the chart for Hannah Atwater 1832, which is this baby here, which I will look forward to starting. So it's charted for DMC. So I shall at some point this week by and by go and get some DMC for this. Come the summer probably. I've got some nice fabric I'll be able to stitch it on. One thing I'm not short of is fabric. Let me just be saying. But that was so kind, so I was really pleased. It was such a nice thing to do. So Michelle, if you're watching me, thank you very much. Much appreciated. And I'm about 3 weeks or 4 weeks late in saying so. So thank you for that. Right, plans next. So plans for the coming week. Temperature stitching will continue. No idea what the temperatures are going to be yet. I just when I wake up in the morning, come through here, get my coffee, then sit down. I'm going to stitch. I will then look and see what's being called for. So it could be any of the 9 over the next 7 days. This morning, the high I think is 13, which is 3, which is pretty again. So probably rattle 100 stitches into that. Other than that, I'll probably will work on Amphitrite today, and then I really should go back to the Blackwater Siren Sal. Part 8 came out. I'm on part 2, but I didn't start until January, so that's alright. Last year I was good at keeping up with Sal's, this year probably not so good. But that's fine. It wasn't even a start along. Well, it was a very late start along. But there we are. And so I'll show you that. Probably show you that next week if I do. What's that on the floor? Oh, it's just a bit of thread. I will show you that next week if that's what I pick up. It is in my mind that that's what it'll be, because I could do it to finish part 2. Drin's got us all hanging suspense in part 8, because in the design, he's reaching behind him. I was printing things off. There we go. So that's where we're up to just now. I'm working on this beauty here above the water. I haven't done down here yet. I'm still working above. Lovely, beautiful treasure chest. And that was the last part that was released. So part 9, which is the last part, will fill her in. But we're all wondering what's happening with this space down here that's shaded. What's he going to do with that? Because he's been very coy. It is a mystery stitch along, but he's keeping that under wraps. I don't know what's going to be happening in there. If it's been filled in, part 9 is going to be massive because that doesn't look much on there. But seeing your fabrics, it's a big design. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of fabric to fill in, so it'll be interesting to see what part 9 looks like. It's a stunning design though, but then you wouldn't expect anything less from Drin. What else have I got to show you? Oh, I brought a bag out. Cupboard of Doom. Cupboard of Doom. How can I forget? So this is an interesting one. This what I'm going to show you. Well, I think it is. So Tim Holt fabric. This is one of my early vinyl fabric bags. I can tell because I've got a huge bind. Oh, my stomach. I hope that didn't go over the camera. Tim Holt fabric. As you can see, very wide binding on there. Sort of 70s lapels. Right, but what's in it though? It's always interesting. So this is going to be a montage, I call it, of Christmas of Santas. So what my idea is I'm going to do 4 Prairie Schooler Santas in the 4 corners of this lovely piece of fabric. And then I've got 2 lavender and lace Santas to put in the middle, like across the middle of it, because it's a big piece of fabric. And then I'm going to do a couple of the longer Prairie Schooler Santa designs, like Santa in a sleigh and things like that, to fill in what's left in the top and bottom borders. This is a piece of 18 count Davosa, I think it is. So let's do it bit by bit. So we have a Prairie Schooler. There's 2 Prairie Schooler Santas on it. So there's that one. A wee cute one there from the Santa. This is one of the recent ones. And then at the other corner we have that one. Winter Woods. But that kind of basting along there is just me counting along, making sure when I was doing the one at the other end that they were lined up. And in that gap I'll put one of the other Prairie Schoolers that is one of the longer ones, the kind of long narrow ones. And then in the middle, I'll show you the charts. Well, I'll show you the pictures rather. So this is 2 lavender and lace Santas, which are here. The picture is in this thing somewhere. No idea. It's right. So there's that one, which looks one direction, and then there's that one looking in the other direction. I'm working on this one just now. I say I am working on it. I was working on this one. It's not been out for a while because I've been too busy doing all stitching. But I've done a reasonable bit. I love Christmas stuff. I love these Victorian style ones that Marilyn stitched. So here we are. That kind of cloudy stuff at the bottom there, that's a right pain in the whatever to stitch on. It's confetti mad. It's not in pattern keeper or anything like that. And it really is just a case of picking a block and working through it. But it's a lovely design. So both of those Santas will fill up that space. I'm not sure if there's a space in the middle, I can put another Prairie Schooler in there. And then across, along the top, again, we have a Prairie Schooler at both sides and one of the longer Christmassy designs in the middle. So I think this will be a lovely one when it's done. That's my plan for this. It's a big piece of fabric, so there's enough going on there. I can fill that in. This is Zweigart. I see it's got the infamous orange strip. So, you nearly missed out on a bag from the Cupboard of Doom. That would not do. Dear me, what was I thinking of? Well, I've got a pile of threads. That's the threads for just about everything, I think, in there. I'm sure there's threads on there for a couple of the Halloween Prairie Schooler charts. One of the things I will do at some point is go through my charts with you. I have a wheen of charts sitting in a shelf in the other room, which would be quite fun to go through. If you are interested in seeing such a thing, let me know what you think. Right, that was a bag from the Cupboard of Doom. We're coming to the end of the Cupboard of Doom, but there is a shelves of surprises. We do like a wee title of it and after a description, don't we? I've got 2 shelves full of projects that are either started or waiting to be started, which will be fun to share with you, I think. Right, I think that's it. We've come to the end at 50 minutes nearly, so I obviously did find something to talk about. Thank you for your time with me this morning. It's been, as always, great to spend time with you. This will upload at some point today when I eventually get this transferred over to my laptop, my nice new shiny laptop, and get this wheeking up to the clouds and to your rooms for you to watch on your devices. Please do comment below, as always. Let me know what you're working on. Any questions, please post them there or by email or over on Instagram. Always happy to engage and answer any questions that I can. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you that. Or I can always go and do a wee bit of digging around if it rings a bell in my flypaper brain. Thinking, oh, I've heard something about that before. Let's go have a wee dig. Usually something pops up. And I will be back with you next weekend again. In the meantime, happy stitching. Enjoy the spring weather if it's spring with you. If you're down under, hope the winter or the looming autumn winter isn't too bad. I know there's been some storms and things going on, but that's the way the seasons turn, and we all get them. Which is small comfort when you're going through tornadoes and cyclones. If there's any dodgy weather coming through, stay safe. Happy stitching. See you next week. Bye.